Yes, so we were discussing constructors in the last lecture, right? So what do you understand by constructors? And what are the types of constructors that we created?
Parameterized, non-parameterized, and copy.
Okay.
And in parameterized, there were default values also.
Hmm. So if there are default values in a parameterized constructor, then what do we do?
Then we don't write a non-parameterized constructor, and we just call the constructor if we don't want to pass any particular value.
So if there is some constructor, suppose as a class with a which is called as numbers, so which has two data members x and y. Okay. So if I create a parameterized constructor, okay, can I create an object inside main like this? I have main. In main, can I say numbers n n1? Is this allowed?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Mm, yeah, because the compiler will then call the default constructor.
So actually, whenever you have there is a rule. Whenever you have a parameterized constructor defined in your class, then in that case, what you need to do is you need to have a default constructor if you want to do this kind of a declaration. If you want to create this kind of an object which is not having any parameters, so it is not initialized here, then the default constructor of the compiler will not be called. It will throw you an error. So if you have a parameterized constructor, then in that case you should also have a default constructor. That is a do nothing constructor. I mean your no argument constructor that you have in the class. That is a rule. Yeah, otherwise it will throw you an error if you try to write something like that, numbers and one. So you need to have this with you. The compiler's constructor will not be called in this case. Okay, so let me see
Ma'am, then
exactly.
how will it differentiate whether we are calling the
It will throw you an error. It will
non-parameterized?
not. It will be a compile time error.
Okay.
So, for example, in the student class, right? If I do not have this student constructor, okay, this is my default, right? And my parameterized constructor is present, right? This is my parameterized constructor. It is present. There's
Yes.
no argument constructor. I've removed it.
Yes.
So now I compile it. So see, it is trying to find a constructor matching with no argument constructor. So it is not providing you. The compiler will not provide you. See, the compiler provides you with a default constructor only if you do not have any constructor. Remember this. If you do not have any constructor in your class, then the compiler will provide that constructor for you. But if you are having the constructor, then you have to make sure that all types of objects can be created. Okay. So this will not be allowed. You can create the other objects like which will have these parameters. You can use this call, right? Student S1 and with the values. These three are passed, these three arguments. But you cannot have this.
Yes.
Okay, so be careful. This is one rule which is there, which you have to remember. Whenever you are defining a constructor for your class, you have to make sure that any type of object can be created whichever you're creating, and otherwise you do not have to create this kind of an object. If you're not providing this constructor, then you cannot create an object of that class, this similar kind, and you have to have always this call only. Okay, so this is one thing I wanted to tell you. The other way is if you don't want to define this separately, and if you can, you provide the default values here. So make these as default arguments. Okay, but if it is an array, then it becomes difficult to initialize it. So what you do is you directly create one more constructor, which is a no arguments constructor, and there you initialize it. Okay, this kind of a program where it is this kind of a class. So it depends on the class which you are defining. So this is about the rule about constructors. Now let us design one more class, so it gives us more practice. So today we will work on one more class, which will give us more practice on constructors. Okay, and that is the book class. Let us define the book class. We'll draw the book class here, the compartments. Okay, so these are the data members of the book class. I'll mention the idea of the book. So assume that you're going to buy books from an online portal, okay, from some online portal. So some basic data about the book I'll be putting here, not necessarily everything. So I'll say it has some ID, it has some title, it has some genre, and it has some price. Okay. So accordingly, it will have the constructors. So you can have a constructor book, you can have a constructor with all these values. Okay, so it will be whatever the type is. I'm just writing it so that you the exact variable names I'm writing it here. Okay, apart from this, whenever you are buying a book from an online portal, what are the functionality that is provided? Sometimes you want to see the books which belong to only a particular genre, right? So let us assume that you have these kind of genre with you. What are the genre for books? You have books of fiction, you have books of horror, you have story books, you have some humor books, you have some textbook. Okay, you can have n number of such categories. Let us fix our genre to 3 or 4 out of these. Okay, and assume that these are the books which are there, the categories of books which are provided on the portal. Okay, now one very common query which is asked, which is done by a customer on such a portal, is finding out which books are available in a particular genre. Yes or no? I want to see all fiction books. That is a common query or no? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can write a function for that. So get books or display books, whatever you want to call it, by genre. Okay, this is one function. What other function you can have? I want to see books only in a particular price range, right? I want to see books which are in my budget. So I have the lower limit and the upper limit. So I want to see the books only within a price range. Okay. What else? What else could be the function? Typical. Anything else? If you're looking for a book, you might have bought books, right? Many a times from such online portals. What else?
The details of a particular book, like price and all.
Okay. So you want to search the book by title. Search book.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say search book by title, it will give you all the books, the details of that book which has that title, right? The details of the book which has that title. So for example, you want to see which is that Harry Potter book, some story, some book one or book two, whatever the title is. Okay. So you will type that. Now, just for simplicity, if you're right, we are going to write these three functions. Okay, let us limit to these three functions and let us write these functions in our class. Okay, just for simplicity, we will assume that the title that the user is entering should be an exact match. Just for making it simple for now, let us assume that it is an exact match. See, because what happens is when you search on a portal, there's a search algorithm, a text matching algorithm which is used. Right, there's some keywords you enter, then also it will show you all the books which are similar to that title, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You might not know the entire title, I forgot, I just say Harry Potter, so it will show everything related to Harry Potter books. So we will not make it that refined, our search. Let us assume that it is the exact title that we are going to enter. Okay. Later on, then if you just take this class, open it up, and then you want to design that portal, then you can think of refining it and using that text searching algorithm, text matching algorithm. Okay. So let us understand. So these are the data members, and these are the constructors, and then you have the data members, the constructors, and the functions. Right? These are the functionality that we are going to look at. So let us design this book class. Right? Okay. So our class members, the uh, private and the public members, we will define. Okay. So ID. So ID again, it could be integer. I'm just keeping it integer for simplicity. You can make it string. Then I have the title, the genre, right, and the price of the book. Next, we have these constructors. So book, string, int, string, and double. Okay, and the these functions, member functions or methods, get books by. What will be the type of parameters that this function will take? You tell me. Get books by genre. I'm just writing down
String
the function.
and books array.
string and
array.
so because you need to provide the genre to this function, right? So you, for example, you want to check which all books are available in the horror genre. So in that case, you need to provide that genre itself, no? Which genre. Usually there will be a drop down list where the different genre will be given to you, no? On that portal. From that you will select one, or there will be some checkbox or some kind of selection for you. So that option you will select from that menu, right? So that we are going to provide, since it's a C++ program without any GUI. We're just going to provide that as an argument to this function, right? Now what you will do is you will also need the list of books, right? So of course this is going to be an array of books. Then you need to get the books by price range. So again you need to provide the array and you need to provide the range. So both the lower limit as well as the upper limit. Okay. Then search book by title. So here you need to provide the array and the title, right? So this has to be the string argument. Now we have to define these functions. First one I will define. So what we will do is, this is a constructor. So how do I write it? Book, scope resolution operator book, and I give the body to this. So these will be the arguments. Let us use this. Do you remember this pointer? What is the this pointer?
It points to the data member.
It points to the current object. This is a pointer which is talking about the current object. Okay. Usually whenever we assign some data member in a function or in a constructor, we simply say data member on the left hand side equal to whatever value is there in the argument list, right? Instead of ID, if this is I. So I take the ID from this. I take the ID from here. Yes or no? And I say ID equal to I. As I write it in this fashion, right? I say ID equal to I. So what am I doing actually? Whenever this constructor in main, there will be an object, right, which will be created for this constructor. So there will be something like book B1, and there you are providing that I, whatever, 1. Okay. And XYZ, whatever. Genre is, say, horror. And then you have the price. Fine. This is the constructor. So the moment you create this object, this constructor is invoked, right? So for this object B1, this object B1, its ID is initialized to this variable I, whatever you're passing, 1. So this book's ID becomes 1. This book's title becomes XYZ, right? Genre becomes horror. Price becomes 1400. That is what you do. Okay. So left hand side always has the data members of the object, because that is actually nothing but it is characterizing the object. They are the attributes which characterize the object on the left hand side. On the right hand side, what happens is you specify these parameters, whatever is written in the function, this as the argument. These arguments you are writing. But what if the argument name is the same as the data member name? Then there will be a problem. If I say ID is equal to ID, so if this is not I say ID equal to ID, what is the problem?
Then the parameter will be assigned the value of the data member. So both will have garbage values.
Yes, so they will have garbage values, right? So ID is equal to ID means I'm not talking about this ID, because this the ID which you have written here, this is a local parameter, local argument, and this is external, right? This is global to this. This ID which is written above, that is global to this function. It is outside it. Okay, although you can access it. So whenever you have a global local kind of a variable, then in that case local gets scope, gets higher preference, higher priority. So this, it will say, it will not give you any error. So it will just say there's no conflict as such. This will just given preference. This will be given preference. So I say ID is equal to ID. That means ID is initialized to itself. This local variable is initialized to itself. Okay. So that is not what we want. We want this object B1's ID should be 1. Yes or no? So to refer to this current object, there is a special pointer which is called as this pointer. Okay. So I say, if I want to refer to this current object, whoever is calling, whoever is invoking this constructor, that object, if I want to initialize that object's data members, then I say this arrow, that data member. So this is a pointer. So I say this arrow ID. I say this arrow ID is equal to ID. I say this arrow title equal to title. Okay. This arrow genre equal to and the price. Okay. Now equal to. So now we have this, initialize this. Now what we will do is we will define all our functions one by one. So since these are functions of the class, first you will have what? How will you access these functions outside the class?
Using the dot operator.
No, not dot. I
Uh,
have to define the function.
oh,
So
the
Scope
for,
scope
there's some
resolution.
problem.
resolution.
Scope resolution.
I have not defined, I have not mentioned the return type. I will print it. I'm going to print the details here only, inside the function. So what I will do, I need to mention the return type, void, followed by, then you will use your book scope resolution operator. Book. Okay, and the genre that you are going to select. Now, when I say I want to search by genre, what am I going? This is a simple search. I'm going to list all the books which are belonging to that genre, right? So I have, suppose I select my genre as horror. Suppose I have, this is my list of books. Suppose I'm just listing the I'll not mention all the 4 data members, just 2. Horror. Okay. Suppose this is ID. I'm just mentioning the ID 1, 2, 3, just so that we understand what we're trying to do. Okay. So these 2 are horror. This is story. This is fiction, right? This is horror. This is humor. This is a textbook, and so on, right? So when I say I want to list by the genre horror only, then it has to just do a search. It just has to do a linear search, right? My function has to perform a linear search through this list and check, just match this particular data member the books genre, I have to compare with the genre which I have passed to the function and check whether they are matching. If they are matching, I just have to pick up the details of the book, including the ID, the title, and the price, and have to display it. Correct? That is what I have to do. So it's a simple search, linear search, where I'm just going to list, I'm just going to match this horror, this keyword, this with the genre which is provided. Okay? The genre which is there of the book with the genre which is provided in the function. Yes or no? One by one, I'll check. Okay, so this is there. So I will be listing one's details. What will be the output of this? I'll be listing one's details. I'll be listing three's details, right? Right? This will be the output. 1 and 3, whatever the details are, that will be listed. Rest all will not be listed because the genre is different. That is what I am supposed to do in this function. Are you getting what you're supposed to do in this function? It's a simple linear search. While you are searching, only thing that you need to search for is the horror, the genre. You have to match the genre. You have to compare two strings basically. Okay. So for this we will require a loop. I also require the size of this array. So it will have one more parameter, the size. Okay, I is less than n, I plus plus, and then what do I do? Books of I, right? Books of I dot genre, right? If that genre is matching this genre, then what am I going to do? I'm going to print it. So I say cout. Cout title. ID I need not print to the customer. Okay. ID is books of I dot title. What else? The price. Price is important. Price of the book is books of I dot price. Right? Now, I will also use endl, new line here. That's it, right? This is going to give you the books by genre. Next function is to get books by price range. So I say int n, double the lower limit and the higher limit. So now what you will do here? Same loop. Inside the book, what will we get books by price range? What will we write?
We will ask for the minimum and maximum of the range.
So that we
And
are passing it, no?
yes, sorry, and then we will compare if books I dot price is within that range.
So if books of I dot price is then only you will print the details of the book. Now this could be more specialized in the real world. What will be the more specialized? First you will check the genre, and in that
And
genre you will
within
take the
that, the
brand.
price
Yes, yes.
range.
Yes, so that also can be done. That I will leave to you as an exercise. You create one more function. I'll pass on this program to you. You create one more function, which will get the books by price range within the genre. Okay, genre. That's it. That function you can create.
We can also add hardcover and soft.
Yes, yes. There are so many categorizations. So that all that data. So that is what I said. This is a simplified version of the book class. In a real world scenario, there'll be more attributes. There'll be more data members, right? So the type of book also will be there. Nowadays, you have the Kindle edition and all that. Online books also available, right? So that also can be added. You can just refine this class to suit your idea of the book, right? You can refine it as per to make it as close as possible to the real world scenario. So
And also, ma'am,
yeah,
the two functions get books by price range and by title. In reality, we would usually put these two functions outside the class, no? And now it is just for demonstration, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Since we are writing it in an object oriented scenario, we are not assuming that the functions will be called directly. The functions will be called by always using an object. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So I print the book title. I'll just copy this, and I will print the genre also here because I'm not searching by genre. Right. The genre I will also print. Then the last one is search books by title. So that can also be done. It's a simple comparison operator that you have to do. It's similar to this. So I'm just not doing that right now. Let me comment it. Okay, this you can complete. Search book by title similar to this only. This function only. Yes.
Yes.
This will have int also. Yeah. So now let us create objects of the class inside main. So here what we will do is, first of all, we'll create an array of books. And then you will ask how many such books you're going to take from the user. Enter number of books. Okay. Okay, and then you will run your loop, the same students loop that you had, na? The same thing. Remember student class. I think in the practical, those who have already done, employee class is there, similar to, on similar lines to student class. And this is one, this book class will also help you. So similar lines. So you are getting more practice. You practice, you think of any class that you can come across, design it, try to design it, write the functions, think of the functions, right? A real world book. Okay, I'm thinking of a book. You can think of some other thing that you're buying at a store, or something else in another setup. You can think of stock market, a stock. Stock is an object, right? It's a class. You can define a class for it. You think of what all operations will be performed on that, right? And then you try to write the program. So that is how you will improve, these skills, OOP skills. You will be able to write the programs if you think of the scenario, real world scenario. Are you getting it? I know you're facing problems with this course because you have to visualize things. You have to visualize in the real world scenario. Okay, let me think about an object. Okay, it's a TV in my home, or it's a mobile phone. Okay, okay, this is an object. What all are the data members that will be there? What will constitute this object? What will describe this object? That is a data. That is a data member, right? What all functionality it provides? Those will be the functions. Okay, you can simulate those functions. It will not be the real function that it will make, it will show you the screen, or it will open up some app, but you can have, you can simulate those functions. Okay, I want to open an app, so open an app, close an app, something like that for a mobile phone. Think of that in those terms, then you will be able to relate to this. Okay, so I will now pick up this student from here, this loop. I will put it here. I will just change whatever is there as per the book. So the book, I require the ID, int ID, and I require the title, and I require the genre. Okay, and then I require the price. Now I say ID, this remains same. So I want all of you this weekend, you please practice. Just open up all these programs. I have given you so many programs. I have uploaded the programs. In fact, this pen that I was discussing last time with you about, giving you an example, this class also I have put up. Have you seen on Classroom? I was explaining this to one of the students. They had some doubt. So I was explaining this concept. So I've put this class also. Just go through this also. Pen class. Then enter the title, then the genre. Title could have spaces. Genre also could have spaces, but better you use this. Usually in the genre that we are considering, we are not having. But there could be so many subcategories. Now, fiction, maybe horror fiction, ye fiction, wo fiction. So there could be subcategories. So you can, the genre can also have spaces. So you use getLine. Then you have to enter the price, right? And that's it about reading. Price. Then I say, I have to call this constructor now, this constructor to initialize. So how do I call it? I had shown you one more way. Whenever you're creating an object, array of objects, then on the right hand side, so first of all, this constructor will be called. It's a simple array, right? So this constructor will be called default. Nothing, it is not doing anything. It is a do nothing constructor. It's not doing. We're just defining it, but nothing inside. Okay. And then when you say this, when I say, what was the name? Books of I. So books of I want to initialize this. Then I say on the right hand side, I write the constructor name. That is book. And I provide all the parameters here. So whatever parameters are there in the constructor, in that order, that is ID followed by title. First we have title, and then we have, let me see, first we have title, and then we have genre. So in that same order, I will pass the parameters. Title, and the price. Okay. Once we do this, your array of books is created, and now you can call these functions, whichever I mentioned. Yes?
What will happen if we change the order?
If you change the order, you have made a mistake as a programmer, right? So the genre will go into the title, and title will go into the genre. So it is a logical error on your part, na, as a program.
Okay.
If this were not a string, it were ID, then it will throw error while passing. You cannot change. It's a function. It's like a function. Function may you can change the order. Can you change the order of parameters that you're passing? If there are multiple parameters, function banaya, int, float,
No, man.
string. Can you change the order?
No.
No. So constructor also is a function. You cannot change the order.
Okay. Okay.
Huh? Yeah. So where was I here? Now I have my array is populated. Array of books is created. Now I simply say I want to search by this these two functions that I've written. I'll just test them. So search by genre and by price range. Okay. So I will say cin. So this genre will not be recognized outside. This is inside the loop. See. So if I run this genre I have declared. So it has become local to this scope. This is a scope, right? This is a scope. These variables are inside the scope. Outside the scope, they will not be accessible. So I have to define the genre again here. So this variable has to be defined again. Fine. So now it is running without errors. So cin genre, and then what you will do, you will call that function books using any object. So I say books of 0 dot, what is that function? Get books by genre. And then I say books, I pass the array books, then I have the size of the array, and then I say the genre, which I'm reading from the user, right? I'm reading the genre from the user. And then, of course, you can make a menu and all that. This will go inside a do while loop or while loop, whatever you like. Title, I say enter title. And this is, sorry, this is price range, sorry. Enter the price range. So I say enter the lower limit, higher limit. I say low and high. I say low. So these two variables I have to define as double, because my price range is a double variable. So I say low comma high. So I read the low and high, and I get the books by price range. So books by price range, I need to specify books n and low and high? Yes or no? So this function will display. Now we run this. So it is asking me to enter the number of books. I'm just writing, entering some dummy titles. Only the oh sorry, I have to run it again. Genre is horror. I say
Fiction.
fiction. Okay. I have entered, so let us assume that I'm going to enter story twice, and I say story, okay, twice or thrice, whatever. Of course, this list will go on and on. Four. And the thing was
Fantasy.
fantasy. So you will have all, okay, John. So enter the genre. So now you just make it user friendly. Yeah? Enter genre to search. Huh? This is for searching. This is searching part. So I say story. And of course, this should be a loop. So you can, the second part of it, the search part of it could be in a loop. Your database is created above it. And then the second part where you're searching, querying the database, that you are putting inside a loop. So for story, it has picked up 2 books and it is giving the title and price. So 2 books were having this, right? Story. For ID 2, title RRSA, and I should have put ID only. And what is that? GSGG. Fine. So it's showing that. So that is what it has done. Now see, this is so simple when you're using string, because string is a class which is already defined. If this were a character array, right? If you made a string as a character array, then you have to use string compare and all those methods, functions. So that library has been changed. The name has changed here. So you find out which library that is. Okay. But you can use strings. It is okay. Use strings directly. You are comparing using equal to operator. Yeah, that string compare me you cannot do. strcmp you have to use. The other strings you cannot compare using equal to operator. Since it is string object, that is why it is providing that operator equal to compare strings. Okay. So I say, I don't know what prices I entered. 200 and 500. So 200 and 500, there are 3 books. 232, 222, 222. Other 2 books are, one is less than 200 and the other one is greater than 200, I think. The last one. Oh, both are less than. Both are less than. One is 111, one is 122. Both are less than. I should have put one more than. So you can practice, you can just check this, you can just change this and try with different values. It will still work because this condition that you've written is correct. Right? This is the condition that you've written. Okay. So we will stop here.
Ma'am,
Yes.
why have you used double for price? Why can't we use int instead of that?
You can use. I'm assuming that there is some decimal point. Sometimes what happens is 99.99. This is the price of the book. Right?
Okay.
So int will not accommodate that. That is why.
No,
Otherwise, there's
sometimes
no
if
such
there
thing.
is some data, means there is some memory clutch, then int would be better. That's why I thought.
Yeah, you could use float also in that case. Float is
Yes, ma'am.
smaller than double. Yes, yes.
And ma'am, also for the data, we can use file handling to access the data.
Exactly. Yes, yes, you can do that. So you can have a file which has all these records, and from that you can pick it up. Perfect. That is fine. You have used structures for that, no? Structure with files. So in C. Similarly, you can use classes.
Oh, ma'am, file handling is different in C++ as compared to C.
File handling has other classes which are there, other header files which are there in C++. It is having the fstream class, fstream header class, header file which is there. Ifstream, offstream. So it is not your usual in C. What you used to do is you used to create that file pointer and all that,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So you don't have those functions. You have some other set of functions. But the way in which each programming language works is similar. So if you will have file open, read, write, and then file close in one language, the same order will follow. No? The same, it should work the same way. Only the function name might differ from language to language. That's the only thing. Otherwise,
That
it is same.
I was asking about
Mhm.
the syntax. Is it different? I need to use other as compared to
Syntax,
C.
yes, yes. Syntaxes will be slightly different.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Ma'am,
then I'll upload everything.
ma'am, can you